I wouldn't teach this unless I benefit from it and I'm living it. I only teach that which I know from my own direct experience. And through letting go, I was able to let go of the obstacles I had to being successful.
You are now listening to the Highlight Reel Builder for Authors, the Going North podcast. I'm your host, certified self-leadership trainer and author of the best-selling book, Stay the Course, Dom Brightmon. And you're going to be getting some goodies today from the guest that's up next. And today on the Highlight Reel Builder for Authors, known as the Going North podcast, we got one heck of a guest for you today, my friends, because my goodness, it feels like this podcast is all about abundance, because it's been an abundance of wonderful humans with some great wisdom to share with you all. And today is definitely a day that's no different, because I got one heck of a guest right here. This person in particular has dedicated more than 4 decades to teaching and sharing a certain method that helps people get rid of their suffering and discover the truth of who they are. And you're probably wondering you're probably wondering who too, but you're probably wondering what method I'm talking about here. It's the legendary, sensational Sedona method. And we got the leading teacher of that method here, Mr. Hale Dwoskin. How you doing today, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
And I'm doing great too. It's an honor to have you on, especially since, my goodness, another wonderful superstar from The Secret, and even have this new wonderful book out with Rhonda and the rest of the fabulous teachers called The Greatest Secret.
Yep. It's a new book, rocking and rolling.
Yeah. So did they put you in this book since you didn't have enough screen time in this first one?
Actually, that's an interesting story. The reason I had very little screen time in the movie The Secret is my core teachings are more about what's in The Greatest Secret. And Rhonda was more interested in that at the time. Even then, 16 years ago, when the initial interviews were done for The Secret movie, Rhonda kept wanting to talk to me about letting go and the process that I do. And that was 95% of the interview. And then at the very end, she said, "Oh, I need to ask you some questions about the law of attraction. Otherwise, you're not going to be in the movie." I said, "Sure, ask away." And so she actually said she was planning to do a book and movie about letting go. And the movie hasn't happened yet, but the book, that's a big part of what's in The Greatest Secret. So that's how I ended up with a small part in The Secret and a much bigger part in The Greatest Secret. The Greatest Secret has quotes from me and my mentor, Lester Levinson, a lot of them, and also has some of the core teachings of the Sedona method in the book itself. So it's exciting.
Sweet. Well, that's good, because that was like my biggest question going in with this check. So listen to a couple of your past interviews, and I was just laughing at myself, because it was like, oh, so he didn't get the full screen time, but he dropped one heck of a quote that was a big part of The Secret. So they're making up for it by letting him be a bigger part of The Greatest Secret.
Right. Actually, I happen to be the only teacher that's featured in both. I'm in the featured teacher in The Greatest Secret and a featured teacher in The Secret. All the other teachers in the Secret, their specialty is with the main thing that's in The Secret, the law of attraction, manifestation, and they're all amazing masters of that particular process. But they're not so much about the letting go part, the discovering the truth of who you are part. That's not their specialty. They're all into that, as I've been reminded of as I've been interviewing them, but that's not their specialty.
Cool. Well, that makes perfect sense too. It's like you want to get the folks who really are experts in that area of letting go, and just making sure you get the folks that are working in their wheelhouses, especially since it's a different focus. So that makes perfect sense. And congratulations, my man's a 2-time appearance in the Secret series, baby. Even though it's
Yeah.
not really a secret now.
No, actually, it wasn't back then either. The law of attraction people have been to all those the teachers in the Greatest Secret have been in the Secret have been talking about the law of attraction for decades and had followings, and they weren't the only ones. Just like the material in the Greatest Secret, there are many amazing teachers who didn't make it into the Greatest Secret who are experts at what's in the Greatest Secret, the speaking about truth and non-duality and that which you truly are. So, but they're great marketing titles. Everybody wants to know
Mhm.
what's the secret, and now that they know
Mhm.
what the secret is, what's the greatest secret? So,
I guess the next one would be the universal secret or something.
yeah, I don't know. I think the greatest secret covers that.
Yeah, got a point because I did listen to parts of the audiobook from it, and just like The Secret and the rest of Rhonda's material, highly produced, well, high quality stuff, and it's hey, just keeping the bar high on that one. So good
Yeah,
stuff.
she's good at that. She really is.
So my goodness, speaking of keeping the bar high, my goodness, you had a wonderful mentor that taught you about the Sedona method, been teaching that for 40 plus years and been still going strong with that and everything else you've been able to accomplish with that. So what do you think might be the two greatest keys to your success so far in having it being sustainable for this long?
Well, and the reason the method has been sustainable this long is because the Sedona method shows you how to tap a natural ability that each and every one of us has. And that's the ability to let go of the stress, the tension, the anxiety, the limiting thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that are holding us back from feeling the way we want to feel and holding us back from having the life that we would choose. So that's a universal, applicable, very powerful thing to be able to teach and to learn. And so that gives it amazing staying power. And the other thing that gives the Sedona method an amazing staying power is that it just keeps getting better. The Sedona method has a ever growing following, including many of the teachers who are in both the Greatest Secret and the Secret also use the Sedona method. And there are hundreds of thousands of people all over the world using this process. So that's why it's lasted as long as it has. And the reason I've stuck with it is because when I first met Lester Levinson and took his basic program back in 1976, before the course was even over, I had this deep intuitive knowing that this is what I was going to dedicate my life to, which is pretty incredible thing for a 22-year-old to discover that early. And it hasn't wavered. I'm now 66. So 44 years later, I'm still going strong.
There we go. There we go. That's right. The endurance man himself, Mr. Endurance, baby. Oh my goodness. Well, congratulations indeed. And congratulations indeed. And what's amazing about the method, like there's still people who still don't even know about it, which is surprising because at one time it was kind of like a real, still is a popular book that was on New York Times multiple times. And
Yeah,
really
yeah.
just the fact that it's so powerful, there's still people who don't even know about it.
Well, but that's true about so many things. I saw a thing on Jimmy Kimmel the other day, and he was he was interviewing people in 2014, and do you know who Joe Biden is? And he was the vice president then, and almost nobody did. Nobody knew. And you can't get more obvious than that, except for the president. Now everybody, of course, knew Obama, but a lot of people didn't even know Joe Biden was the vice president. It was funny to watch. So the fact that not everybody knows about it, so what? What's nice is it's it's really helped a lot of people, and more people are being attracted to it, even though it's been around so long. So it's all good.
There we go. Probably good with seven O's, maybe. It's extra good. So with the power of just really letting go, with everything, like with all the people that you've helped, what's probably been the most rewarding experience, at least in recent history, with basically with all of your teachings, with helping folks to let go? Because a lot of folks carry baggage nowadays, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gotten even heavier.
Oh God, yeah. Right now, people's load seems to all of a sudden everybody got an extra load on top of their load. It's a lot to carry around. We're doing workout every day just to carry around our excess baggage. Well, I think there are several key areas where I've seen really amazing benefits for people. The first one is just in their overall sense of well-being, happiness, caring, and just relaxation and ease in their physical body. That, most people are so tense and so stressed, especially now, that to be able to be going through what we're going through and also all the usual challenges of being alive and to be relaxed and open and at ease while still being focused and energized and able to be really successful in life is a gift. And that's almost a universally reported gift, a gift that people get from letting go. Another very common thing that I experience every day is people, when they let go, discover that there are no limits to the abundance they can create for themselves. And I've seen people literally go from just being having average income to being millionaires, letting go. And then another key thing that I've seen is that most of us look for relationships to make us happy or to fill us up, or we feel like we're not complete unless we have that special other person. Whereas as you let go, you discover your own inner completeness and you bring that to relationships. So it makes relationships easier and more fun. The communication gets more open and relaxed, and both people in the relationship enjoy it a lot more. So it really helps with relationships. And lastly, it's universally accepted now that stress and tension and anxiety and not dealing with life effectively, especially emotional trauma, takes a real toll on our immune system. So another thing I see all the time is people having all sorts of miraculous results in their health and well-being. So that's, and then lastly, and this relates to The Greatest Secret because that book is very much about this. Lastly, what everyone is looking for, whether they're conscious of it or not, is happiness without sorrow, happiness that's unshakable. And unfortunately, we look for it all in the wrong places. So as you let go, you discover that happiness is right within you. And once you make that discovery, it changes your relationship to everything else. And you feel happier and happier and happier, even when the world is on tilt. I've been in lockdown in where I live now for, what is it? It's almost a year. It's going on a year.
Wow, yeah.
I mean, I live in Washington State, and that was the first place in the United States where they discovered coronavirus. So it's been going strong here for a long time. And our lockdown from the very beginning was pretty strong to try to combat it, in which we succeeded to a very high extent in keeping the numbers low. But it's been intense for everyone. Yet during this whole period, I've been happy and relaxed and at peace and able to, at the same time, I've adapted my whole business to do it all online. I was doing some live seminars before, and I'm helping even more people all over the world. So from that perspective, I was able to take the lemons of the pandemic and turn it into lemonade. And that's also what happens as you let go. challenges don't stop. The world is constantly going to challenge you in many ways. And it's really more about how you respond to the challenge that's important, not whether or not you're challenged or not. To expect any technique to eliminate challenges is a pipe dream. It's just not going to happen. Life goes on. It's again how we respond to it that's important. And as you learn to respond from your inner strength, your courageousness, your that sense of peace and stillness and silence inside, and that sense of aliveness and openness and inner strength and power, and of course love, when you respond from that, life is a very different experience. And that's what most people report from letting go. So it's good stuff.
You can say that again. You said so many powerful things, and one of them that stuck out to me is the fact of life that challenges don't stop. They just don't, but you're able to be resilient enough and let go of enough baggage, probably multiple forms of baggage, to be able to pivot and adjust your business to be able to reach more people. Like, even though it's sad a lot of folks have lost a lot during this whole pandemic, but it's been forcing us to really make some changes that we were probably supposed to make years ago.
Yeah. And again, unfortunately, we are a very stubborn species, us humans. We
Hmm.
often don't really change what needs to be changed until we don't have a choice. Where our back is against the wall. It's like, all right, I'll change. I'll change. But the key is to be able to be adaptable moment to moment, to be able to respond appropriately to what's actually here now, not what you wish were here now, or you hope will be here now, or what was here yesterday. You need to deal with what's here now. And the more you deal with what's here now, the more you find your life takes on a very different quality, and you can master businesses and succeed at them. You can do better at your chosen career. You can create more abundance on every level because you're responding appropriately to what is needed moment to moment.
That's right. Being adaptable from moment to moment. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And it's kind of funny, like that's really just a state that some people may have trouble with. So, what do you think it may have been the Sedona method of letting go, or do you think it might have been something else that helped you to get to that point of just being self aware at multiple times like that?
Oh, you know what? I have to give credit where it's due. It wasn't me. I wasn't special. Still not. But do again. I wouldn't teach this unless I benefit from it and I'm living it. I only teach that which I know from my own direct experience. And through letting go, I was able to let go of the obstacles I had to being successful, to being fully engaged in relationship, to taking care of my body in a conscious way. To and to me, the most important thing was to just discover that light and that love and that peace and that joy that's at the at in the heart of every single person. Every single person at their core has this light of truth, this light of sweetness, this light of power, and this light of certainty. And uncovering that and living that for myself and helping all these other people do that has been incredibly rewarding. It's really enriched every part of the last 44 years.
Ah, there we go. There we go. And since you're a heart centered man, what's probably been the biggest obstacle you may had to really overcome when combining entrepreneurship with that? Because a lot of folks, especially nowadays, are starting to learn more about them being a sensitive soul, and they may want to do the entrepreneurial side of life, but they may have trouble with that. So, what helps you to really get more confident with being a heart centered entrepreneur?
What happens in my experience, it's through practical experience that I learned how to be an entrepreneur. because I was letting go of my fears and my doubts and my self-sabotaging thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, I was able to just stick with the challenges that come up with starting and succeeding in a business. And because I wasn't attached to what worked in the past, and I kept adapting, and kept letting go, I was able to keep allowing the business to change in a way that it kept serving people more and more. And of course, there was financial rewards in that too. I put what was in my customers' highest and best interest first, or highest and best, not interest. Well, yes, their interest, but also in their highest and best good first. And by doing that and letting go and being willing to do the work, I mean, God, there are times it was a lot of work. I went through a period where I was working, 80-hour weeks. And the reason I was able to do that is because I was letting go. I didn't explode. But what was nice is, as I kept letting go and learned from what worked and didn't work and paid attention to that, I was able to work a lot smarter instead of harder. And so by the time uh, in 2011, I stepped out of running my business, and I folded my company. My wife and I folded our company into a larger organization. And now I do what I love to do, which is things like this and teaching and writing books and all this stuff that's fun for me as part of this business. And someone else does everything else. And we still are very, very lucratively rewarded. But now the work level is nothing like it was. And that works for me.
No pun intended, right?
Right, right.
Oh man, but yep, it's definitely true, and it's great that you're able to have that practical experience where it's let go of that fear, because I feel like that's one of the major things that holds a lot of people back is really just letting go of that fear, and whether it be fear of failure, fear of success, or fear of doing something.
Right. That's true. Sometimes people freeze. I mean, I know that when I was younger, especially before I really got good at using the Sedona method, that I would freeze. In fact, now when I was young, I was shy. I didn't I didn't even like talking to one other person at a time, much less groups. And the seminar I just completed had over 300 people in it. And I've spoken before thousands. And again, that's something I can directly attribute to using the Sedona method, to letting go. And what's nice is what I've achieved, I know is not special. I know that anyone who has a sincere desire to change or improve their lives can apply themselves to this and get amazing benefits, amazing benefits. And again, I know that from my direct experience. And so my confidence in the people who come to me, I'm confident that they'll succeed at it. And most of them do, which is incredible.
Ah, yes, indeed. And it's great that you still have that humility too, because some folks may get to a certain level and be like, oh, I'm so great. Build a skyscraper named after me or something.
Yeah, I've never wanted that. And again, even that I have to attribute to letting go. There was, of course, as a younger man, I wanted to be rich and famous, even after I started releasing. But I quickly discovered that rich and famous is good, and I achieved that. But there are things so much more important than that. And I'd rather see people benefiting, people transforming their lives, and then people thinking that I'm somehow special because of it, because I'm not. I'm really not different than anyone listening to this right now. You all have the ability to let go of anything that's holding you back. And if you can allow yourself to remember some simple things like feelings are just feelings, they're not facts, and they're not you, and you can let them go. If you can just remember that and explore that, you'll start to discover that from your own direct experience. And you've already experienced letting go. If you remember the last time you had a really good belly laugh, that's what it feels like to let go. And you can learn to have that on call, even in areas where it's not appropriate to even smile. And young children do this naturally. That's why we like to be around them, because they're so spontaneous, they're so natural, they're so present. But as we mature into adulthood, we lose touch with that. And we forget who we truly are, and we forget this natural ability to let go. But once you rediscover this, you'll never lose it again. The reason we could lose it as a young child is everyone was trying to convince us we were limited and that we were a separate individual. But once you discover you're not limited, and you don't have to be, and you can let go of all that appears to limit you, there's no going back. It just gets easier and easier and more helpful. And most importantly, more and more natural. What we're usually doing every moment, we're either suppressing our emotions or expressing them. And both of those have their place, especially sharing with people you care about what you're feeling, because that's how you connect with others, especially if you're in an intimate relationship. If you're not willing to share how you feel, your relationship isn't that intimate. But if you look, you'll discover there's a balancing point between suppression and expression. And that balancing point is letting go. And the more you let go, you're freer to express when appropriate. And you find the need to suppress drops away, because you know that anything that arises, you don't have to push it back down. You can just let it go. So your baggage that we mentioned at the beginning of the program, the load gets lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter over time, until that sense of heaviness that most of us carry, that sense of constriction that most of us carry, for many who use this process, it disappears completely. And then they're just left enjoying life as it is and accomplishing whatever it is they'd like to accomplish moment to moment.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Just jewel after jewel, leaving us with tennis bracelets of jewels, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Letting us know that you are not limited. That's right, folks. You're not limited indeed. Just got to let go and you'll feel limitless. And if you take
That's right.
action
You
to it.
will. You will.
So, since this is far from your first rodeo, is there a question that you wish you be asked more often?
Well, what's a practical thing I can do right now to start letting go?
Ah, beautiful.
And I'll give you the 3-minute answer or the 5-minute answer. I don't know how much time we have left, but if you're willing to pick up a pen or a pencil or some object in your hand that you'd be willing to drop to your desk or the floor or wherever you are, and for the sake of this analogy, this object represents your stress, your tension, your anxiety, your fear, your rage, your anger, and any other feeling or thought or belief that's holding you back. And your hand represents your gut or your awareness. Now close your hand tightly around this object. Now, if we did this long enough, it would start to feel really familiar and also really uncomfortable, but that's enough gripping. Now roll the object around in your hand. Now, is this object attached to your hand? Obviously not.
Nope.
But we forget that. We think we are our problems. We think we are our feelings. It's even in our language. When we feel angry, what do I say? I say I'm angry. When I feel sad, we don't say I feel sad. We say I'm sad. We've identified with the feeling. But every feeling and every limitation that we have is attached to us as this object is attached to your hand. So now close your hand lightly around the object, turn your head upside down, and then could you just let go of the object? That's how easy it can be to let go of anything that's holding you back. Ponder that for a moment. That's how easy it can be. It's just a choice because it isn't who you are. And I'll give you a set of simple questions you can use that will help you do that. And then if we have time, I'll take you through the process. So the first question is just pay attention to some issue in your life that you'd like to change or improve. And the next is to just welcome whatever thought or feeling or belief or idea that brings up inside of you. And then you ask yourself these questions. Could I let it go? And if you were able to drop that object a moment ago, or if you didn't do the exercise, you can at least imagine it, then I know you can. The next question is, would you let it go? And would you just means, are you willing to? And if you're ever not sure, just ask yourself, would I rather suffer with whatever pain I'm experiencing in this moment, or would I rather be free and have my goals? Usually the answer is obvious. And then last question is when? And when is simply an invitation to decide to do it now. So do we have time to run through it once or twice?
Of course.
Okay, so I'll take everyone through it. I'm not going to just work with you. I'll work with everyone listening. So in this moment, allow yourself to think of some situation in your life that you'd like to change or improve. And then could you notice or allow or be present with whatever it stirs up inside of you? Could you just let it be here for now? And then as best you can, just for now, could you let that feeling go? Just could you? Would you? When? And if you were able to lead with your heart a little more, not just think about it, you probably already noticed something let go. So let's run through it one more time. And remember to just say yes or no to these questions. No is a completely perfect answer. And you may find you let go a little on could you let it go, a little on would you, a little on when, or you may save it up for the last question. Either way, it's fine. So again, allow yourself to focus on that same issue or any other issue that you're feeling any stress or tension or contraction around. And could you just simply be present with it? Allow it. Notice it. And then as best you can, just for now, could you let it go? Just could you?
That's a yes.
Would you?
Yes.
When?
Now. Why not now, right?
Why not?
Yes, you weren't expecting a quick response, I guess. Right?
No, sometimes it's very quick like that. And actually, you're still letting go, which is great. And that's how sometimes it happens silently. There's an inner smile maybe, but nothing external shifts. And sometimes you'll actually find yourself laughing because letting go feels so good. So at any rate, everyone listening to this, try this technique. All the benefits I've been talking about can be gotten just from, this is not the whole thing we teach, but it's one of the things we share in an environment like this because it's so useful. And I've seen all the benefits I described that you can get from letting go, you'll start to get just from this one basic technique, even if you never do anything further with the Sedona method. So I highly encourage you to use this in your life and see what unfolds from that.
My goodness, indeed, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Oh man, the power of letting go and just getting that good laughing afterwards on occasion, depending on the situation too. So
Yeah.
it's solid gold flow, folks. Definitely got to unfold this wonderful gift indeed. And the good news is it's only one of many that await you, because my man Hale has got many more that await. It'll be like Christmas. You're like a kid at Christmas, all these presents under the tree. You only unwrapped one of them.
That's right.
You might even just play with the box after opening the first one. That's how good it is, right?
Yeah, good. He's still releasing. That's good.
Yep. Hey, I to laugh. Try to laugh every day. Good feeling. Try
That
to make
is a good
others laugh
feeling.
too.
Yeah, laughter is great.
Heck yeah. That's right. Just got to let go. Got to let go indeed. Heck, maybe for those who still have the young ones, just play the Disney Frozen song "Let It Go"
Right, right.
on occasion.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh my goodness. Oh, we're coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive, and that is, if you were to wake up tomorrow and you were 25 again, but this time in 2021 with all of your knowledge and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
You're on the right path. Just stick with it.
There we go. Oh my goodness. There you go. That's solid advice right there. Just super glue that advice to your feet. You're on the right path. Good times. Oh man. Well, for those who unfolded the wonderful and unwrapped the wonderful gift from earlier, may have done the activity with you and want to do even more wonderful stuff, what's the best way for folks to reach out and learn more about what you're doing, Hale?
Well, the best way is to go to Sedona.com, which is our website. And there are lots of free resources there. There's also access to our books, our audio programs, our online seminars. And so that's one thing. And there's also access to a lot of free support. And then there are two other great resources. One is our YouTube channel, which is the Sedona Method YouTube channel. It has over 200 free videos. Many of them have processes in them that you can use right away. And then the Sedona Method Facebook page has free quotes every day and great video as well. So those are the three things I would recommend. So Sedona.com, just like the city, Sedona.com, the Sedona Method Facebook page, or the Sedona Method YouTube channel. All of it has great resources.
Woohoo! That's what I'm talking about right there, folks. Check out all of Hale's great materials, baby. We're going to put all that wonderful stuff in the show notes, baby. Sedona.com, indeed. That's right. They should probably have a city called Sedona in Washington State with all the stuff you're doing, right?
Maybe someday they will. Who knows?
That's right, indeed. Well, there you have it, folks. Check out all of his wonderful wares, baby. Definitely check it out, because there's so much you can get. So, any parting words before we close up shop?
Yeah, just a reminder that you have no limits except the ones that you believe in. And remember that feelings are just feelings. They're not facts, and they're not you, and you can let them go. Just by remembering that and exploring that, you'll find ways to let go. And as you do, your life will open up in amazing ways. So just be open to that as a possibility. And also remember that in this moment, you are already at your core whole, complete, and enough as you are. And don't take my word for it. Explore that, and you'll discover it for yourself.
This is your host, Don Brightmon. Hope you enjoyed what you just heard. And if you really did, Do me a solid and leave a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, wherever you're listening to. And subscribe to hear more because more is coming your way to advance you further than before.